London.
One of the world's most busiest cities where time waits for no one. A city that never sleeps, with millions of visitors from across the globe, all of which are here for the delights of what London has to offer. From Parliament Square to Piccadilly Circus, it is an iconic city which has no limitations and no boundaries. But London also has a darker side. Do you believe in paranormal existence?
Yes, I most definitely do.
Okay, so that's because you've actually had experiences?
Yes, I've had quite a few paranormal experiences from my childhood into my teens and also into adulthood.
Okay, would you mind explaining one of them for us, please?
Yes, I can tell you about the time when I was a student, when I was looking for a house to live in Brighton. My friend and I went to look for some accommodation to live in. We went to one house where students were living in already, and they said, let us in and said, have a look around the house and then, have a look around and see if you like it, let us know. So we walked in, we had to look around downstairs, and we went upstairs, then we went into one particular room, and as we walked in I noticed there was a man sitting in an armchair. He was about between the age of 50 and 60, and he was wearing quite old clothes from another time, shall I say, and he was reading a paper, and as I walked in he peered over the paper and looked at me, he raised his eyebrows and smiled, and I said to him, oh, I'm very sorry, and I walked back out the room. I thought my friend was following me, but she didn't. She stayed in the room, and I couldn't understand why she was still in there, because I couldn't hear them talking, there was no voices. Eventually she came out, and I said to her, why did you stay in there? That man was in there. And she said, what man? I said, the man sitting in the armchair. And she said, there's no man sitting in the armchair. And she opened the door to show me, and when we looked in the room, there was nobody in the armchair.
The paranormal, a subject which remains controversial even in this day and age. While some people believe in the existence of ghosts and spiritual entities, others remain sceptical. Some fall victim to traumatising experiences, whether they have seen, felt or heard an example of paranormal phenomena. Can you please tell us about the hauntings and history of Guildford Castle?
Guildford Castle Keep is now 900 years old. The castle itself dates from shortly after the Battle of Hastings, so it's 950 years old now. The Castle Keep served as a county prison for Surrey and Sussex for about 300 years, from about 1200 through to 1500. And consequently, given its history, you may think there's plenty of ghost stories connected with the location, but none of the stories seem to date before the 1950s. The earliest one we can find was in 1951, when some workmen were told, who were doing renovation work to the structure, that there was a ghost of a girl who was seen halfway on the spiral staircase to the roof, not aware if she should go up or down the stairs. There used to be things happen more often. Certainly since my tenure, I've been senior custodian there for the last 17 years. In the late 90s, and it hasn't happened since we reopened actually, mothers used to enter with their toddler children. The toddler children would go hysterical and need to leave the building, claiming they could see a man who was chained up to the walls on the ground floor. Well, when it was the county prison, the prisoners were kept chained up to the ground floor of the keep. If this happened just once, you'd think it would just be an overactive imagination, but it happened several times to various people over the years. Some people have entered the keep and they claim they could smell roses very strongly from a chamber in the first floor. There had been an occasion several years back when a father went to the cage on the roof with his elder son, and saw his younger son suddenly appeared before him, and he started pointing out some of the buildings around the town centre. He looked down a few seconds later and found the younger son was suddenly missing. So he ran down the stairs to catch him, just to find that his younger son was still hand in hand with his wife on the first floor and hadn't even got up the stairs yet.
In the mid-20th century, a discovery of human remains was made near Waterloo Bridge. Several weeks after this incident, a ghostly apparition of a headless man was seen wandering across the bridge. At Cleopatra's Needle at Embankment, several reports have been made of the sound of laughter emanating from the area. In Highgate lies one of the most extraordinary paranormal cases of the 20th century, known as the Highgate Vampire. Several sightings have been made of a bat-like entity, which circles the cemetery on nights under the full moon. This entity then made a series of brutal attacks on the people of Highgate. In the early hours of April 16th, 1922, a passer-by was grabbed by the entity, which then pierced his neck and drew blood. Only 2.5 hours later, at the exact same location, another victim was admitted to Charing Cross Hospital with serious neck wounds. A third victim was admitted later that day with the same injuries.
I've been with the Ghost Club doing investigations now for over a decade, and when I was a child I grew up reading all these supposedly true books about ghost stories that are meant to happen in various places around the country, and it said things like, doors close, mysterious cries are heard. You go to these places, you find out that what reads so spookily in a book actually has a completely natural explanation. It makes you very cynical.
London withholds a variety of opinions from its inhabitants, whether it be for or against paranormal existence, but in the end, it's all down to what you believe.
It's like, why don't people believe in aliens, or why don't some people believe in God? I think it's all about seeing is believing. I think if you don't see anything, you don't see any ghosts, then I don't think you will believe.